It's been a year of destruction, devastation, and death. As we approach 12 months since the start of these hostilities in Ukraine, President Biden is heading to Poland on a 2-day trip that his Polish counterpart, Andrzej Duda, predicts will produce developments of global significance.
A dictator bent on rebuilding an empire will never...
Almost a year on from his last visit to Warsaw, he'll make it clear that the US still has Ukraine's back, but he'll stop short of stepping foot in the country.
Are there plans for President Biden to cross into Ukraine?
No.
What's the likelihood that President Biden meets with President Zelensky next week?
There's no meeting, you talking about on the trip? There's no meeting with President Zelensky scheduled for the trip right now.
But President Biden will use the trip to praise Poland for its billions of dollars in military and humanitarian aid and its efforts to welcome more than 1.5 million refugees from Ukraine. On Wednesday, the president will then meet the heads of the so-called Bucharest Nine, a group of countries on NATO's easternmost flank, including Hungary. Its Prime Minister, Viktor Orban, insists his nation will stay out of the conflict in neighbouring Ukraine, which he believes could drag on for months, even years.
2023 is now, based on these timelines for delivery of tanks and other equipment, is likely to play out with the Russians conducting an offensive over the course of the next several months, throwing pretty much everything that they have. The Ukrainians weathering that.
In an effort to help Ukraine weather that offensive, the US has committed to sending Kyiv more advanced tanks. Ukraine hopes the West will supply fighter jets. President Joe Biden has so far resisted that idea. The situation at home, with a divided Congress and waning support for Ukraine, especially among some Republican lawmakers, could instill financial constraints on American assistance in the future, though that won't prevent the president from making forceful remarks in an attempt to once again rally the world in defense of a grieving and battling nation. Benji, Hyer, CGTN, Washington, D.C.